the Trump administration requests it, would the Massachusetts State Police assist in mass deportations?
No, absolutely not.
We need you in the streets because the courts will not always do everything for us.
And they are taking the streets. They're outside Trump Tower.
We are about to enter a political period that will have consequences for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that's right.
Get ready, because we're in for one hell of a ride.
Democrats already starting their plot to block the president as his victory brings him back to the White House. You see, our friend Amuse on X shared this. Massachusetts governor already threatening to stop Trump from deporting illegals in her state, saying we're going to do whatever we can to bring our legal defenses to protect our citizens. And so what we saw in the immediate aftermath of the election, I think the Democrats were a little bit hazed, a little bit shocked. They had been lied to for years that Kamala was a competent person and that Trump was an insurrectionist, even though it was totally disconnected from reality. But then after the haze has been lifted and after they realize we're going to be out of power for the next 4 years at least, they start to rally the troops. That's what this sounds like now.
If the Trump administration requests it, would the Massachusetts State Police assist in mass deportations?
No, absolutely not. But, let me say this. I do think it's important that we all recognize that there's going to be a lot of pressure on states and state officials. And I can assure you, we're going to work really hard to deliver. Some realities also need to be noted. And that is, in 2016, we had a very different situation in the courts. And while I'm sure there may be litigation ahead, there's a lot of other ways that people are going to and need to act for the sake of their states and their residents. There's regulatory authority and executive powers and the like. There's legislation also within our states. So I think that the key here is that, every tool in the toolbox has got to be used to protect our citizens, to protect our residents, and protect our states, and certainly to hold the line on democracy and the rule of law as a basic principle, right?
Okay, great. So Massachusetts can become the hub for Homeland Security and immigration services. Great. Otherwise, they cannot have their federal funds. How about that? Here, Massachusetts governor. So we'll see what else she wants to have happen. Perhaps she wants an insurrection to occur. She wants people to take to the streets. That's what the ACLU said. They were talking about need you in the streets to block Trump's agenda. These are insurrection words.
It's one of the reasons why I want to stress to people we need you in the streets because the courts will not always do everything for us.
But is there more?
The courts aren't going to do everything for us. So hit the streets.
Or public acceptance or tolerance.
Oh my gosh. So they're plotting right now. I wonder if he'll be under investigation. And they are taking the streets. They're outside Trump Tower. This was posted over from Stu. Says activists are on the streets of Chicago protesting Trump taking the election. Said that here we've got 2 clips of this from the Stu Studio, which is fun. He said this: breaking, activists take to the streets outside Trump Tower in Chicago. The heck they say? The subtitles say the whole damn thing's a dance ball. Yeah. I don't think that's what they're saying. Pretty sure. The whole damn thing's a dance ball. Yeah. Like are they going and practicing their 1-2 steps? I don't think that's what they're saying. Let's listen. The whole damn system stands for? I don't know. Maybe they're just going to go dancing. I thought that they were protesting Trump, but maybe they're just going to go dancing. I don't know. I can't tell what they're saying. So that was one clip. Here's another one. Activists in Chicago are marching against Trump. It says breaking. Marching down Dearborn Street, activists from a radical police abolition group, the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, hold a banner saying, end the Trump era, stop white supremacy. What are they talking? What does that even mean? Stop white supremacy. What are you talking about? What? All right, let's see if we can understand what they're saying now. Okay, we got that one.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Not illegal immigrants. They're not welcome. No, because that's the point of being illegal. Don't want illegal immigrants. Now, here is another exchange. Apparently, the Democrats are very unhappy with each other. Here was Donna Brazile and Nancy Pelosi. They're having an exchange outside Kamala's concession speech. Here's what this one looked like. What's going on? Here you can just kind of, what are they saying? Do we know? Uh-oh, Pelosi's multiple eyebrows were elevated. See that? She's pointing to the sky. What's she saying? Oh, I don't know. Somebody's going to go up to heaven? Well, I don't know. What does that mean? And her third eyebrow rose considerably right there. Her forehead moved. Oh my gosh. Her forehead moved. She must be furious. She's furious. Somebody going to get taken out? We're going to send them upstairs to meet their maker up in heaven like we tried to take Trump out? All right, I don't know. So read into that what you will. But if her forehead moves, that's a pretty serious situation. Now, other people around the world, apparently Mexico, they're not acknowledging Trump's victory. Isn't this interesting? Let's listen to this. It says the president of Mexico said she's not going to recognize Trump as president until all the votes are counted. Okay, yeah, I like this comment. The wall just got 10 feet higher. That's right, it did. All right, let's see what this sounds like. Good morning to everyone. There was news that President Trump won. But in any case, we're going to wait today for the vote count to end in some states before we issue an official statement. Rude. Very rude. Why? Because you're upset? Let's see. I don't know anything about this person. All right. This guy's upset. A little disappointed. Thought there was going to be some change in American society. Says, in the way people think about migrants, the economy, and the middle class. Well, we're thinking about all those things, actually. Yeah, we're thinking about all those things a lot. We just don't want illegal migrants in our country because it's very expensive and damaging to our country. So here you can see, apparently Midas Touch also posted this. World leaders have already gotten together to stand firm against Trump. Look at all these really tough world leaders. You're not alone, America. The Belgian people are with you. You're not alone, dear American sisters. The Norwegian parliament stands with you. Dear American sisters, you're not alone. The Finnish parliament stands with you. Okay, man, so tough and mean business, really. All right, okay, I don't even know what else to say about those. All right, here. Now, speaking of strong women who express their emotions, here's Jimmy Kimmel crying his eyes out. All right, they're having a real rough time out there, and Jimmy Kimmel, he deserves to be made fun of for this.
It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
For healthcare, for our climate.
Oh, gosh, give me a break. Okay, watch it. He does it again.
For justice, for free speech.
Free speech.
It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine. For NATO, for...
Is he from Ukraine? Is Jimmy from Ukraine? Does he know what's going on? Like, does he have an interest over there? What's he so upset about?
And democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it.
No. You guys don't realize it, Jimmy. Your life's going to be much better, okay? Our dollars are going to be much better. Now, your cocktail parties are going to be upset because you guys live in your deluded bubble where you just sniff each other all night, every night. And you got to get out more and realize the world is much bigger than your TDS dementia. But we also have AOC out, and she was having a statement about this, and Wokeness clipped this. She says, we're about to enter a period of fascism and authoritarianism. Here's how AOC is handling it, just a little bit.
We are about to enter a political period that will have consequences for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that's right. It's gonna be great.
We cannot give up.
We're not going to.
We now find ourselves in a time in history that has precedent.
Yeah, 2016 was great.
I believe, in a time where there are, let's say, peers in history of mass movements of people that mobilize to protect one another in times of fascism and authoritarianism. And this is the era that we are poised to enter. Donald Trump has talked about turning the military on U.S. citizens that he deems his domestic political enemies.
You guys created a whole operation against the J6ers, called them political enemies, essentially, without saying. The domestic homegrown violent extremism, right? You have a whole operation. All right, she's just a nut lunatic. So they're having a hard time melting down on this. And this was another fun clip. Apparently, Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski's husband, didn't have any idea that butter was so expensive or that the cost of goods has increased through the roof. Surprised he didn't know this. Maybe he hasn't been to a grocery store, bought anything.
A few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, somebody who was going to be voting for Kamala Harris came up to me and said, oh my God, Trump's going to win. I go, why is that? He goes, I went to the grocery store, butter's over $3. Yeah. I kind of laughed and I said, well, that's kind of reductive, isn't it? Said it to myself. to him, I smiled and I said, good point. But it actually, what everything we're hearing after the election is,
I'm just saying, the $7.
What's that?
The $7.
What's that? Butter is $7?
Yeah.
What?
Some
Is
places.
it framed in gold?
Depends on where you go. But
Yeah, it can be $7.
Well, yeah, okay. Well,
$7.
anyway, my point is this, Willie.
He doesn't even believe it, right? The guy came up to him and was like $3. It's like, what kind of butter are you getting, man? That's a smoking deal. Would you get like half a stick? You want to get a 4x4 of good butter? Yeah, you spend $7 easy. This was the point we've been making for years. Okay? They can call Trump an insurrectionist or whatever. Ukraine. They can lecture us all about our allies and, thousands of miles away. Okay, that's great. But we all have to deal with the consequences of that spending and of your policies. We feel it every day. Joe apparently doesn't feel it. Doesn't buy his own butter, apparently. Mika handles the grocery shopping at their household. Maybe you should pitch in around the house a little bit, Joe.
The rent is too damn high, and this guy was saying the cost of butter is way damn too high.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was...
It's not just butter, it's everything. A lot of things are made with butter, by the way, right? So that goes up too.
a bit reductive. It ended up being just the point that if you look at the cost of groceries, if you look at the cost of gas, if you look at the cost of things compared to 4 years ago, it was a very simple answer for working class Americans. Things just cost too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question about it. By the way, $7.
Yeah, $7. I don't know what he was going to go with that. But Joe Scarborough is such condescending snob, isn't he? It's reductive to be concerned about what your food costs. Man, I don't know how much money that guy has, but he's basically just saying everybody else is poor. Oh, it's reductive. Hey, man, I can't afford to eat. Will you stop being so reductive? Okay. Don't you care about liberty and democracy? No, I'm starving. Well, you'll be starving with Kamala Harris in the White House, so you'll be happy, okay? So just deal with it. Doesn't work for me. Reductive. Stop being so poor, I think is what he's saying. Maybe you should make some more money and you wouldn't have to be worried about butter prices. And then you could vote for Kamala Harris and be a better person like I am. Okay, thanks, Joe. Now, this is another guy, Ron Fikowski, is a very influential person on the left, and he was going nuts this election cycle. He's over with Midas Touch, you know those guys. He's got 1 million followers. He's a lefty, big, name over there. And so he's here trying to figure out what the hell went wrong with the Biden administration, and he's blaming Mayorkas from Homeland Security now, pointing fingers there.
Almost like you denying that you can do anything about it.
Here's the thing, they had to know in 2021 and 2022, this is Donald Trump's #1 issue. It was his #1 issue in 2016, but he couldn't use it in 2020 because he was in charge, right? So you had to know he's chomping at the bit to get back in the game on the border issue, right? The migrant caravans, the whole deal, right? And not only that, he's got the ammo now because migrants are flooding in post-COVID in numbers that we had never seen before. Even at the worst of what it was under past administrations, it was worse than that. And so
hello, yeah. It's like, where you been, man? That's what we've been talking about forever. Yeah, wide open borders. If you guys would have been talking about that years ago, maybe that wouldn't have been a problem and you would have won the election.
You have to know that Trump is going to be all over the migrant issue. And so what do? You allow the media to define your VP as a border czar when that is Alejandro Mayorkas's job? And where's Mayorkas? Like, the only time we ever saw Mayorkas was when he's dragged in front of Congress and getting yelled at by Republicans. Like, I think critical error was not flip-flopping Buttigieg and Mayorkas. Buttigieg should have been DHS. Mayorkas should have been Transportation Secretary, because Transportation Secretary, we don't need a dynamic speaker who can go on Fox and kick ass. We don't need that.
Yeah.
And Mayorkas is terrible. He's a terrible communicator. So stick him in transportation. Make Pete the border czar, man. Pete's a tech. He can jump in there. He can jump on Fox News. He can battle with the Republicans. Like, I don't understand the personnel there at all. You put Mayorkas in there. I thought Mayorkas was dreadful. Mayorkas was as bad as Merrick Garland. They were the two weak links of this administration, and those two guys hurt this campaign.
I love it, man. So they're just ripping the administration. All these guys who were their heroes for 4.5 years or 3.5 years are now suddenly responsible for the downfall. And here's one more from the left. Rosie ODonnell says we should get rid of the Electoral College, which is weird because Trump won the popular vote. So I'm not sure what you would want to replace it with. But here she is having a meltdown.
For yourself, call your friends, check on them, and get ready because we're in for one hell of a ride with him at the helm.
You better believe we are, Rosie. It's going to be great.
Guardrails. Okay.
Guardrails.
God bless America, people. That's all I can say. We're going to need it. And how about we get rid of the Electoral College?
Just go to what, a popular vote?
Does that, anybody like that?
He would have won this time anyways if you want a national popular vote because he got 51% of the vote. So I don't know. Interesting comments from Keith Olbermann. Yeah, I don't know what Keith's doing here, but he's looking, looking good, growing his hair out. Anyways, so that's Rosie O'Donnell and the left having their meltdown. They're going to be plotting. They're going to be working hard to stop Trump. We're going to have a bunch of Letitia Jameses and Fannie Willis's and this Massachusetts governor. All the states are going to start to become difficult in their various, blue domain ways. We'll see different countries all stand up and bring their women together from the Finnish parliament to be really tough and standing up for women. And we'll be here covering it all.